Good morning everyone, we're here at Southwestern Vehicle Auctions for its first classic car auction of the year. And as much as I'd like to be standing behind the rostrum conducting this auction, it will be behind closed doors unfortunately. But that doesn't mean that we can't give you a great preview of the cars ahead. Great range of everyman classics ranging from everything from an Austin Allegro right up to a 1930s Rolls Royce. So we're really excited about this one.
And I can already see, Jeff, the first lot that's going to have caught your eye. So let's go and have a look at that, shall we?
Yep.
Okay then, Jeff, we've got two iconic city cars here, Fiat 500 and of course a very early Mini.
Yeah, it's this one, well, you know which one I'm going to go to first.
Yeah, difficult choice.
It's the Mini. And this one is really rather special because it's actually a very late Mark I. It's a 1967 car, just before they brought the Mark II out. And it's really smart because they've done it in a kind of early 60s cafe racer style, sort of weekend racer look, you know, the spotlights, but it's real sort of less is more kind of approach. Stickers, no hubcaps. The one thing about this is under the bonnet, it's got a Cooper S 970 motor. And a 970S was a homologation special and they made fewer than 1,000 cars. But this one has now got the engine from one. And it's a really revvy little engine. I think 65 horsepower, but we'll go to like 7,500 RPM. So really nice feature they've kept is the Magic 1 gear lever. So they've adapted that to the Cooper S transmission, because normally it would have a remote gear lever coming sort of more out of the tunnel than that. Not only have you got a really nice basis, but it's got a really nice engine and box in it as well.
But listen, you know, Joe is behind the camera and he's our resident Italian car fan, so he's going to be very much approving of our Fiat 500 here, 1971, with reportedly 85,000 miles on the clock. Again, this looks very, very straight to me.
Yeah.
And I think this has got ooze appeal, left-hand drive, of course.
This is one of the Baldwin cars from the Baldwin collection.
Okay.
So it's the third generation of mechanics in North London, and sadly now passed away, so the collection's being sold on. But this is one of the cars that the late Mr. Baldwin restored.
I think it's lovely, but of course if either of these two were a bit too old for your liking, there's a spiritual successor which I think we should take a look at now. Now Jeff, it's 25 years ago in 2021 that the Ford KA was launched. And this one, is this part of the Baldwin collection as well?
Yeah, this one's part of the Baldwin collection.
So this is a 2004, so it's actually a relatively later one. And I stand absolutely adamant that these are going to be a classic at some point in the future.
If you can find one.
Away, haven't
yeah,
they?
if you can find one. And this one's done only 179 miles, which is remarkable, and that's obviously testament to the way it's survived. It's got none of the
Someone needs to buy this
issues
and cherish it and not use it to deliver pizzas on a Friday night, basically. That's what needs to happen.
I mean, it's just a lovely thing, isn't it? Dagenham Motors as well. I mean,
it's got original dealer plates.
Yeah, it just feels right to have Dagenham Motors in the back of a Ford, doesn't it?
That's a very new Ford, 2004. If you really want to go proper classic Ford, we've got this lovely Mark I Escort here, 1.6, 1972.
This is an unusual car because it's a South African import. Now, at the moment, everyone's bringing cars in from South Africa because they're cheaper and they're solid, but this one was brought in 1979, so it's very much ahead of the curve. And it's interesting because it's a 1.6 or 1600 XL, and I'm fairly confident we didn't have that model. A couple of interesting features on this. I think the seats are different. You've got slightly plusher seats than you'd have in a UK car, and it's got the wood dash a bit like a 1300E, but you've also got these opening front quarter windows. And I think they're only an option on certain UK cars.
Budget air conditioning.
Yeah, budget air conditioning.
The three-spoke steering wheel, love the three-spoke steering wheel.
Yeah, and I love the fern green metallic paint. I think that's absolutely wonderful.
Lots of fond memories of these. I think they're...
It's really, really good condition as well.
And I love the styling as well. And I just think very desirable car, like you say, unusual spec and excellent condition.
And from one 70s classic to another 70s classic, a 304, Peugeot 304, but a convertible, two-seater.
And this is an official UK car? This is...
Yeah, I don't think they imported that many at all.
Because this must be really rare, because Peugeot wouldn't have been hugely dominant in the UK in the 70s. They definitely had their heyday probably a decade later. But
the convertibles seem to be the ones that have survived. I think people sort of cherish them from new because they were more of a weekend car, yeah, rather than a family car. So with two seats and things like that.
I just think it's lovely. Its bodywork needs a bit of love, doesn't it? But none of it looks tragic.
Yeah, it's cosmetic by the looks of it, isn't it?
It looks like it's all fixable.
Yeah.
Which I think is...
the hood looks good. The hood looks in good shape.
Yeah. Didn't they get the styling just bang on with this? Just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
How about another 70s car?
Another 70s one.
Not your average family car. Oh no. Bit plusher, this one.
The Allegro, but the posh one.
Yeah, the posh one with the picnic tables. Allegro Vanden Plas or Pla, depending on...
Yeah, we had this problem
We've
last
had
time,
this
didn't
debate
we?
so many times. I think it's meant to be Plas because it's Dutch.
It's the interior that I think wins it for me. The opulence of the interior.
Yeah.
You might sort of think it's sort of gilding the lily a bit, but I love the picnic tables. It's got a non-original 3-spoke steering wheel by the looks of it.
Little baby rolls. It's a 1.5, isn't it, with the E-Series engine?
But, you know, while this was meant to be the British Alpha, can I just hop straight over here to the actual Alpha? Is that?
You can.
Because obviously with Joe behind the camera, we've had to, you know, screw in a couple of Italians.
Yes.
To make sure that our man Joe is happy.
This is a facelifted Alfa Romeo 33.
Yeah, well, what strikes me about this is that it's obviously quite distinctive and it's a very 80s white.
I love those Zender wheels. How cool are they?
It's very of its time, isn't it?
With the white body kit, you know, white sills, big white front spoiler, cloverleaf down the side.
And crucially, I think the interior is actually really tidy in this. And I think if you were trying to sort of bring this up to a higher standard, you'd want the interior to be decent rather than necessarily worrying about the exterior, because getting interior trim parts, I imagine, is hard work. It's gonna be a hoot to drive.
Yeah.
And you know what they say, you've always got to own an Alfa at least once in your life, haven't you?
And low mileage as well, only 48,000 on it. Registering to bid then, are you?
Maybe.
I am.
But if you didn't want to go quite so glamorous, we could step to the rather humdrum bread and butter favourite that is the Vauxhall Astra Mark II.
I know, but these are all... When would you last see a fairly low-spec model like an LX?
Well, that's it. Like an Astra GTE Mark II might still exist, but this is a fairly humdrum LX spec.
1.4.
And we've got the round Vauxhall badge by this point, because that matches the round Opel badge that would have been for the European cars.
Vauxhall dealer number plates on it. This is one of the last, isn't it, before the Mark III
Before the
came out.
Mark III came out,
Yeah.
Exactly. And yet it looks really good, I think. Now, I thought these wheel trims weren't original, but you've done a bit of research.
Yeah,
right?
I think the wheel trims are original. They definitely look 1985-esque.
Because they smack of an early Belmont to me, but actually
they do.
I think
I think
right.
for this model, they're right.
I don't know, I think it's really cool.
I think it's a no reserve lot as well. So
is it really?
Good starter classic, isn't it? If you just wanted to get into something,
absolutely,
you could get in and drive.
Yeah, and
it's tidy. Doesn't need a lot of work to maintain. I think it's great.
Well, on to a 1980s icon here, Jeff. This BMW 635 CSI Auto. Yeah. Now, I remember when you could buy these for a couple of grand, and those days have long gone,
long gone. And this is a bit of a unicorn, this one, isn't it? Because it's really low mileage, 48,000. I mean, I don't think there's another one left that's done 48,000.
I think these are breathtakingly cool. It's worth spending some money on.
This one's got a really nice history. It's been really well looked after. Things like the metric tyres, which are such an expensive purchase, these ones are relatively recent.
Okay.
The tread looks good. I mean, apparently the wheels have never been refurbished. Which
really,
is
they look very
for
tidy, don't they?
For a 1986
So that's never
car.
been through some sort of truck wash that corrodes the wheels or anything like that. And the interior looks really good.
Exactly. I think the condition of this one really speaks for itself.
I think for me, this epitomised the shark nose styling of those 80s BMs. I think it's the best looking of those shark nose cars. Very, very desirable.
But I'd have a Capri. I know I'm always in the minority when I say I'd have a Capri, because I'd probably have a Capri over a house. But
yeah, a bit extreme.
Yeah, anyway. I know. But I absolutely love Capris.
So this is a fairly late one, right? 87?
Yeah, really smart on these performance super lights, the sort of mini light style wheels.
They look good on the mini lights, don't they?
It does. Trim looks really good with the Recaros in really good condition.
I love those Recaro seats, and the 3-spoke steering wheel is just...
And the 28i is probably the most usable Capri of all, isn't it?
Very, very nice.
Very, very smart indeed.
A bit more bread and butter, but very desirable. Cop car of its day, would it be?
Yeah, I can just see that with a police label on the front, straight out of Heartbeat.
I was going to say, bit of Heartbeat territory.
It's a Wolsey 444, the same body shell as an MG Magnet ZA.
Right, okay, yeah.
Instead of having the B series in, these have got the 1250 engine from basically the MGT range, but with a single carb. I think it's called the X-PAW engine, XPAW. Look at that. I'll just pull that open for you. Look at those heater controls. How cool are that? The dash is fantastic. The trim's in really good shape as well, isn't it? In fact, this car is in very good shape all the way through.
Yeah, it's actually a really nice example. Like if you wanted to put a bit of money into a, in quotes, proper classic car, you could do a lot worse than this. Estimate of 4,000 to 5,000. Actually,
that's phenomenal. Isn't
yeah,
it?
I mean,
that really is phenomenal.
There's even more cars over in the warehouse, so we should go and have a look at that.
I know, we've only barely scratched the surface.
Now, I reckon the variety here, Jeff, is almost better than it was in the October sale, and that's saying something because the October sale was pretty splendid. But there's a really late S-Class here that's already caught my eye because on an H plate, this has got to be one of the last of this generation of S-Class, certainly. But what a bulletproof piece of kit this is.
Yeah, that's a beast.
It's been to the moon and back, 158,000, but that's barely run in on a Merc.
Okay, there's plenty more where that came from.
It's just fabulous, isn't it? X350 XJ. Well, the thing is, this is
a quick car, isn't it?
This is a Super V8 model, so I mean, they would have even done a Daimler version of this a bit later on. Loads of leather, but crucially, the supercharged 4.2 V8.
Well, it's got a bit of that aluminium corrosion, isn't it? But we know about that, don't we? Because we've got one.
Yeah, it's, you know, fundamentally the aluminium's good, but of course you do get this sort of reaction with the paint, and it does sort of bubble and corrode, which is unfortunate because it looks really unsightly.
For my money, sorry.
Proper Jaguar,
yeah.
You could argue. Yeah, Mark II.
You know, I need a little bit of 60s getaway car. 3.4 this one, really, really nice. It's not going to break the ground to go and buy a Mark II Jag, is it? But you can see why they're so popular.
Of course, the tribute car is sitting over here, a very early Jaguar S-Type. It's an early one because it's 99 and they only came out in 99. They were unveiled in the 98 Birmingham Motor Show. And this is a V6 one, 3 litre V6. Less glamorous engine, but actually a really bulletproof engine.
Looks tidy, the wheels look good.
E33 series.
Yeah, apparently this is a really low mileage one.
25,000.
25,000 miles on this 318. So this is a early car, another 318.
It really is, isn't it?
And it's an A-Reg, so what were they, 83, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a really early example.
It's very tidy, isn't it?
Yeah, the trim's lovely. Yeah,
much better.
So that's in really tidy condition.
And look, a Mark II Golf here.
That's another Baldwin collection car, that one.
Is it?
It's not quite as low mileage as the Ford. The Ford
114,000.
Yeah, this is I reckon this would make another good starter classic, wouldn't it?
But yeah, exactly right. Yeah, a bit like the Astra that we saw earlier, but a good starter classic.
It's got the 1.8 engine as well.
Yeah, good engine. Good engine, and I actually
the later big bumpers.
And I like the big bumpers. I know some people don't; they look a bit ungainly, maybe. But I really like the big bumpers.
A trio of pre-war Austins, a couple of 6s. This is a fabulous thing, isn't it?
It looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah. As you can see, I left the door open from earlier, so I can show you the green on green trim. Well, they've got the option of an aerodynamic caravan as well to go with it.
Oh, does it?
So this is the one. They're separate lots. But this is the one that's got the caravan to go with it in the matching colour scheme. So this is a 33 and the caravan is 34. So nice period caravan to go with it as well.
Gosh,
really,
that would be something,
really
wouldn't it?
Yeah. But you're bypassing
Oh yes, look,
the Austin 3 litre.
Quite rare now.
Yeah. So it's a bit the same doors as the Land Crab and the Maxi, I think. But these are rear drive.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can tell, can't you? The doors are from a Maxi.
Well, it's like an extended Land Crab, isn't it?
Yeah.
But rear drive, and quite a rare thing because I don't think they ever sold that many of them.
No. So what you found there then, Jeff?
29,000 mile Mark 6 Escort.
Now,
another starter.
I'm quite fascinated by these later Mark 6 Escorts because, of course, the Mark 5 when it came out was such a dog. It got so slated in the press, didn't it? By the time you get to this Mark 6, this 96 car, it's not a bad motor, is it? It's not a Ford Focus by any means, but it's not a bad car. So this is a really low mileage one, 29,000, 1.6, that with the Z-Tech engine, rather than the god-awful CVH block by then. Am I allowed to say that? Probably not, I don't know. But anyway, I like the wheels on this. I mean, these wheels are actually, I think, originally part of the SI trim model.
Yes.
We should make reference, of course, to this Daimler
250
V8.
With the V8, yeah.
So, of course, Jaguar bought Daimler supposedly for their engineering excellence, and their V8 engine was certainly a fine example of their engineering prowess. There's a lot of people that would take a Daimler 250 V8 saloon over a Mark II, actually.
Not in its first flush of youth, but it certainly looks solid enough, doesn't it?
If you've got the time, the skills and the patience, this would be a lovely restoration project. I think that'd be really good. And what you then need to go to the sort of the specialist to pick up all those parts and everything is a really capacious estate car like this Volvo 760 GLE Auto. What an absolute beast this is. I've always wanted a big Volvo estate. I just love the really big seats that look like something out of a Scandinavian living room. from the 70s or something. They're really sort of their time.
A decent machine polish, I think you'd probably achieve an awful lot, and that's great, isn't it? You can get your car home, just give it a machine polish, and you've probably polished a 500-700 quid in it, you know.
But
just
listen,
like that.
you know, this is not the only estate car in this building, and I really need to just point to this delectable thing here, because I know Joe will also want us to highlight this fairly late Rover 418 SLD Tourer with the Peugeot turbo diesel engine.
This number plate intrigues me.
It's a Coventry plate, right? SAC.
Yeah, but first production, well, among the first production MGFs, had SAC sequence of number plates for sort of press use, or they went to the Rover management, things like that. But they were N sort of 400 sequence.
Right, okay.
This is 223, so who knows, it could have been a management car at Longbridge or something like that.
But the estate is particularly attractive.
Yeah, and I think Joe's going to have a bid on this one, isn't he, Joe?
I love it.
I know Joe's got to find his next company car, so this might be his next company car. He's just got a camera gear in the boot. But that turbo diesel Peugeot unit is pretty good, isn't it? And it's good on fuel.
We know they're good for the mileage.
You could run it on chip fat, couldn't you? Yes, and we ran that 205 project car, didn't we? Click link to our project car videos.
Very individual colour scheme.
Never seen one in that colour before.
On this Z3, I think they're special order, weren't they?
Is it a 4-cylinder?
Yeah, it's 1.9 manual.
Z3s are great. People should not rule out the 4-cylinder, because although it's not the most powerful thing, it's smooth, it's reliable. What we got here, a little Wolseley?
Little Wolseley 1500, yeah. I like these. I really like them.
Yeah, well, one of our art editors used to drive these all the time. Never let him down. He used to drive them all throughout the winter, potter along. It was his thing. I think they're great. I love them. Nice old Land Rover.
It's Land Rover, yeah. I don't know why, but something's telling me it's a 1958.
what gave it away, right?
Don't know. Just a hunch.
A lovely thing to have as part of a collection.
Do love a TR6. You can't not love them, can you?
Exactly.
Love those deep dish steels on there. They're just...
I think they're glorious.
Yeah,
I really do.
Proper thing, aren't they?
They look so dainty on the road now compared to modern traffic, but...
They are such a good looking thing. From the sporting TR6, so one of my favourite 60s cars.
What have we got here?
It's a Mark III Zephyr, Mark III Zephyr 6. I just love them. I just love the fact they've got that big old front bench seat. I'd love to cruise around in one of these.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I like this era of Ford. I think that it was the Americana styling. It's fabulous, isn't it?
Jensen Healy, another Baldwin collection car. I think this is the final Baldwin collection car that we're going to see. This is a very modest estimate, isn't it? £3,000 to £4,000. It's got to make more than that.
When's the auction again?
The auction is on the 26th of March.
26th of March, right. Get bidding, guys.
Yeah.
Our friends at Lancaster Insurance are giving away this fantastic 1984 Ford Escort XR3i. It's free and easy to enter. All you got to do is follow the link on screen and fill out the form under the competitions tab. T's and C's do apply, and good luck.